I'm excited about this dish. Welcome to my kitchen, our kitchen. Um, Rice, long grain, short grain, medium grain, risotto, paella, dirty rice. There's so many variations. This is one of my favorite ones. This is Tahdig rice. Tahdig rice is a Persian rice. And the word Tahdig means from the bottom. It doesn't mean rice. Anything that's from the bottom means Tahdig. And so we're gonna make Tahdig rice today. And in order to do that, you need a long grain rice. Long grain such as basmati, which we are gonna use today. Prior to making the rice, we made a beautiful vine ripe mint, tomato, cucumber salsa that we're gonna be serving with this rice. This is a very simple, very elegant, very easy dish. What'd you do? Did you mess up? Okay, you put your finger in front of the camera? Oh my gosh. We're amateurs. A trick of making rice is you need a cast iron. I really like, you can do it in a Le Creuset. I do like the cast iron because it's gonna, and you'll see why. It holds up and it's gonna get us the crust. How much rice do I need? You need to put enough rice in your cast iron, right here, to cover almost a little bit over a third of it. Because this rice is gonna triple in density, by the time I'm done with it. So now that I know how much rice I need, I'm gonna bring my rice to this little pot, and I'm gonna put enough water. Mama, can you come here and show that? I'm gonna put enough water to cover the rice, no more than that. Because I'm really not cooking my rice all the way through. I'm cooking the rice until all the water is gone. I'm gonna come here at a high heat, and I'm gonna start working on my rice. We made a great tomato cucumber mint salad that is just fresh, it's elegant, it has beautiful bold flavors. I like to make my salsa differently every single time. But what I'm looking for here is the freshness and the juices and the moisture to pick this right up. So that's why I'm not putting any paprika and cumin, your traditional things that you'll find in a salsa. This is a really beautifully minty red onions, cucumber, tomato salsa that we cut, and we're letting it, I like to make it at least an hour before. And this is where, for those of you who have seen some of what we've done in the kitchen, I like to have my garlic whole. In this case, I like it nice and shaved. It cures in that lime and lemon juice really beautifully. So we're gonna wait for our rice to cook. And basically our rice is gonna take 15 minutes at the most to cook. Basically, I'm gonna cover it right now, and I'm gonna as soon as it comes to a boil, I'm gonna reduce the heat, let it absorb all that water, and then we're gonna get into the next step. So we'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay, so all our water, I've checked on it, is pretty much all gone. And you can see our rice is not fully cooked, but it's 30-40% there. What I want to do right now is to truly get this rice to slowly cool off a little bit. But before it cools off, I'm gonna add a few threads of saffron. And you'll see this is gonna start changing its color beautifully shortly. And as it cooks later, that color is gonna keep changing and changing. I'm gonna add around 2.5 ounces of unsalted organic butter. This is really very important. This butter is also going to get my saffron to open up even more right now. And you'll see all my water is gone right now. All I'm doing right now is starting to develop my rice. This step is pretty critical. A little salt. A little bit more. You know, for this type of a cast iron, 1 tablespoon of salt. I'm gonna let my butter melt in there nicely. What's gonna happen as we cook this rice, I'm gonna have the butter flavor, but it's gonna dry out because the water is gonna leave the rice. So I'm adding around 3-4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. This is not going to cook. This is just going to stay there and it's going to keep the moisture of the rice intact. So as you can see, all my butter, I did not cook my butter. All my butter is melted. My saffron is starting to bleed nicely. The color is starting to come together. We can come here. I don't know why I'm going all the way there. If you could smell the saffron, the butter, and the olive oil, it's like heaven. It's really like heaven. And again, I'm not doing too much salt in here. The next step right now, I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna get my cast iron at a very high heat. I'm gonna do a combination of 3 ounces of butter. No, actually that's around 2 ounces of butter. I'm gonna melt this butter beautifully, and then I'm gonna add a high smoking point oil, not olive oil. I'm gonna add an olive oil that can handle a very high heat because this rice is gonna sit in here for literally an hour and 10 minutes. So I wanna melt my butter first, and the reason I want to melt my butter first is that I want to reduce the water content in the butter. So when I'm adding my oil, which in this case the rice bran oil, or if you like sunflower oil, grapeseed oil, any oil that can withstand that high heat. Once I add it to it, when my butter is melting and that water is gone, it's not gonna cause too much splat. Okay. This step is extremely critical and very important, and you're gonna see why shortly. So far you can do this. You can cook the rice, you can flavorize the rice, you can let all the water get absorbed out of the rice. If you taste the rice, it's gonna taste crunchy. It's gonna have a nice, beautiful crunch to it. That's okay. We want that because the cooking of the rice, will happen later. This is where the rice gets to get kissed. This is where the rice gets to make love. This is where the process finishes. So, beautiful right here. See that? I'm gonna drop my heat a little bit. I'm gonna bring this heat back in a little bit. And the reason I'm gonna add a little oil to this is because I don't wanna burn my butter. The oil is gonna keep my butter from burning. So I'm developing a nice little coat. I'll probably put around 2 tablespoons of high smoking point oil. At this point, I'm bringing that, making it nice and hot. While that's working, and you can see it's foaming up. That foam will disappear. That's the water that's going from the rice. I'm gonna start right now creating my first coat. You see this? This is all beautifully perfumed. I'm starting to develop a nice little brown film. That's a nutty flavor. That's what we call beurre de noisette. It's a nice nutty flavor. I'm incorporating some French techniques into this beautiful Persian dish. And right now, I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna create my first coat. Beautiful. Half of my pan, okay? Half of my pan right now is covering the bottom of that rice. Now, my rice expanded. It almost doubled, but by the time I'm done with this dish, it's gonna triple. At this point, I'm gonna get my heat all the way up for a couple minutes. Just enough for all the rice on the bottom to start. And I'm tapping it a little bit to start forming a crust. While that's happening, I'm gonna do the next step. And the next step is adding plain organic yogurt, not Greek, just plain yogurt. It's around, for this particular dish, 1.5 cups. So I'm gonna use this spoon and I'm gonna cream up my rice. Look how beautiful that is. The reason why I don't do it to all the rice, I don't do this to all the rice, for two reasons. That yogurt has a lot of moisture. If I do it on the bottom, it's gonna break and it's gonna get stuck. And two is that I wanna create two different layers out here. So right now, I'm gonna put my heat all the way on low right now. And right now what's happening to that bottom, and we'll see it at the end, is that it's forming a nice, beautiful, even film. Find the largest burner you can get, because that's going to be really critical so you can have a beautifully even cooking of the bottom. So you can have the Tahdig, which means bottom. In French, we call, when things get stuck to the bottom, we call them a fond, you know, and we deglaze the fond with wine and we bring it back up. As I said, in Persian, they call it Tahdig. So my yogurt rice is done. This is one of our favorite rice as a family. Of course, we love paella and we love risotto and we love all types of carbs. Carbs are your friend. Well, not really. They're like those friends you love to hate. So right now I'm gonna put this out there and I'm gonna cover that initial coat. And now I'm gonna put more pressure. This rice weighs a lot more. And you can see I have like a nice little level out here. We have a spoon that's, and I'm right now coming to the sides right here, and I'm really packing the rice. The more you pack the rice, the better it is when it's done, and it will come out beautifully. Look at this. See that? Voila. Creating a beautiful, look at that. A beautiful, camera lady, can you show them how? Look at that. And I'm gonna pack right here. I don't want any air bubbles in here. I want it nice and dense. It's under low heat. If you cover this right now, the steam won't escape and you will cook the rice back up and also keep it moist. That works. Another thing that works even better is a nice little cloth that goes right here and this over it. So now you know that your steam is not escaping at all. I'm keeping it in there. All these flavors are gonna come together. Every 10-15 minutes, This is gonna take you, depending on your burner, between an hour and 10 minutes. I like to give it a little bit of a quarter of a turn. Quarter of a turn. So we'll see you in an hour, because our burners are pretty powerful. And we're gonna see what this looks like and finish it off together. I'll see you in a little bit. Let's see what happened here. So you will notice as we uncover this, all that steam that stayed out there, our cloth is nice and beautiful. And really depending on how you like it. We like our rice nice and almost slightly burnt on the outside. You know, if you like it less, you can go less time. As you do this more and more, you'll find out how do you like your original color to be. Our original color, because what we want is that crust on the outside, and you'll see it shortly, to flavorize the inside. When it's slightly brown, it's only crunchy, but it doesn't have any flavor. But it's really the dark brown, it has a lot of beautiful flavor. But that's a preference. If you don't like it that way, just go less. Your rice will be crunchy nonetheless. So I'm gonna cover my pan, and I'm gonna be very, very careful. And what I'm gonna do is just flip it, you know? And let's see if what we did worked, correct? And you will learn a lot about your oven, about your pans, and you'll get better at this as you go. This is as beautiful as it gets. Tahdig.